everybody, and welcome back to the channel, where I'm going to give you a warning now. This one's going to get a bit deep, possibly a bit sweary, and someone might take offense to it. I'm going to say it now. If you feel the need to be abusive in the comments down below, you're going to get blocked and reported. You're allowed an opinion, but remember, an opinion is only opinion until it affects someone else in a negative way, and then it's no longer an opinion. What do I mean by that? You can like cheese and onion sandwiches. I hate the fuck out of them. That's fine. That's an opinion. It's never going to affect me. You can like Star Wars. You can dislike Star Wars. In fact, you can think that all the new Star Wars in the world is absolute shit. I give you the right to hate it. And I'm more than happy for you to come into discourse about that. But I want discourse. I don't want the absolute drawing under the line saying, oh, all the new stuff's shit, when you've got to remember, I'm an old Star Wars fan. I may not look it, but I have been a Star Wars fan since I was very little, about 6 years old. I'm not going to tell you how long that is because I already feel really, really old as it is, but here we are. I, for a very long period of time, said that I wasn't a Star Wars fan. I was a Star Wars hater. And I'm going to get into why that was in a minute or two. Now, the reason that this video has been delayed and why there wasn't a couple of videos last week is because I made this video. It was just a simple little scrapbook digital video that I've been making for ages now. Well, actually not ages, I think this is only the third one. But you know what, it was really fun. I've been trying to catalogue more things, be more positive about life. And Star Wars has been one of those things that has been actively helping me over the last year. I've not been well, I'm not going, well, you know this, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know this, but last week the discourse around the Acolyte happened, and it's been abhorrent on all social medias. Like, as I've said, your opinion could be that the Acolyte was the most shittest show in the world. Fair enough, you're allowed that opinion. It does not affect me. What does affect me and other people is when you go around saying that Star Wars isn't for you. Star Wars is for everybody. In fact, I'm going to read you the finishing line out of the book that I have just read that is about the rise and fall of the Galactic Republic. You heard that right. This is a book that was written about the end of the terrible era that everybody went through. But finally, thanks is reserved for you for reading this book. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you are holding this book, if you are reading it, if this is your first Star Wars book or just your most recent, you are why I wrote this book. Star Wars is for everyone, and that includes you. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to categorize it by saying that is written as an official source, and a lot of people are like, Disney is an official source. George Lucas himself wrote Star Wars for 2 reasons. Obviously, to make money. That's actually not one of the reasons I was going to put in, but obviously to make money. But he wanted to write a story about hope, about good triumphing over evil. And that's what happens. He also wanted to write a story that was for and about everybody. And I think he managed that. But what I think that a lot of people forget is that something that is for everybody means that no one owns it. There should be stories that are in this world that don't apply to you, because there are life experiences in this world that don't apply to you. If you aren't gay, for example, to bring up the whole Acolyte thing about everybody saying that, oh my god, it's the gayest show ever. It really wasn't, and again, I could go into why that is, but this isn't what the story is. If you aren't gay, you are never going to understand the prejudice, the hatred, or the downsides that come with being with that. You can try, you can read books, you can watch films, you can empathize with them and try your best to see their point of view, but that may not be a story that you want to read or listen to because it doesn't relate to you. Does that mean that it should be discounted and it shouldn't exist? No, that's not the case. Should we read about people who are disabled in any reason? Again, Yes, it should exist. It's something that is for everybody, has to have everybody in it and everybody involved. And the Star Wars fandom is one of the worst places I have ever been in my entire life. I'm also going to say it was one of the best. I've met some really good friends through Star Wars, but I've also met some absolutely horrible people. At the age of 12, The Phantom Menace came out, and I loved it. I was so excited to see it in the cinema. I was so happy. I bought all the merch. I wanted to go and visit the actors. I wanted to get into these spaces. Now, bear in mind, I was pretty young. And do you want to know what happened the first time that I went somewhere that was a fandom space? I had old white men tell me that I was an idiot for liking such a piece of shit. That how dare I develop a sense of taste that wasn't anything like theirs? How dare I choose to exist in their space, even though it's in public, therefore technically not your space? They made it so difficult to enjoy Star Wars that I didn't watch The Attack of the Clones when it came out. I didn't watch Revenge of the Sith. I missed out on the entirety of the animated Clone Wars series, which, if you know anything about me now, I absolutely adore and have built most of my personality around. And whenever I looked back at Star Wars, I dipped my toes in every now and again. I hated it. I would be one of those people that would just look at it, and because of the fandom, I would walk away. And the only reason I got back into Star Wars was because of the pandemic, and a friend of mine sat me down and told me to watch the Clone Wars on Disney+. And I did. And because of that, one TV series, I got back into Star Wars. And watching and listening to all of this hate that's going on around the Acolyte, it just makes me go back to that little version of me who was crying in a corner as she was throwing out her merchandise because people told me I wasn't good enough to be in the fandom. Let that sink in. 30, 40-year-old men were telling a child, which is who the shows were written for, wasn't worthy of being in the fandom. I don't care if you didn't like The Acolyte. I don't care if you did like The Acolyte. You can like or hate what you want. But your vitriolic hatred and cruelty towards people is what will destroy the franchise. Not Disney, not the writers, you. You're the reason that George Lucas sold to Disney in the first place. And if you don't believe me, go and look at some of the interviews where George explains his reasoning for getting rid of Star Wars. I both love and hate this fandom, and it's brought a lot of negativity up and a lot of trauma up for some people, and I think that needs to be respected, and I think that the fandom needs to stop and take a long, hard look at itself and realise that it's a problem. Well, that's my 2 cents on it. As I said, please be polite, please be reasonable in the comments down below. I haven't called anyone out here. I haven't called anyone a bigot. I haven't called anyone foolish, delusional, or stupid. If you're one of those people that is just like, you're all woke and that's why this isn't for you, you're part of the problem, and I think you need to go to therapy. Get some help. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I do hope that you enjoyed this, well, I say enjoyed, that you understand why this ramble came out to be what it is. Hopefully the next video will be a lot nicer. So take care, have fun, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.